My absolute favorite thing to do on the channel is guess league characters from their music alone and then watch character themes, look at lore, and watch some character trailers. Now, of course, this is Ornn, the fire below the mountain. I understand the connection to Udyr. I understand that he is Volibear's brother, and I understand that he is all about fire. So those are some things that I know going in, and now I'm going to sort of try to dissect a little bit more about who Ornn is from the music alone to start. Here we go. Ornn is a blacksmith. There's a major significant difference between Volibear and Ornn, and actually that Volibear video is right here. I recommend checking that out too, and I only say that because Volibear, the relentless storm, is very violent, very chaotic, very forceful, whereas Ornn is a lot more introspective, sort of under the radar, and Ornn is much more, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Much more stoic, much more contemplative, and the reason why I say that is the humming. That humming is very like, well, I've got a job to do. I'm not gonna bother and get all stressed out about what my brother's doing or whatever. Like there is a certain sense of peace that exists in this, even in these first few minutes. I feel like Ornn has seen some. Ornn is like, you know what? I'm good here wherever I live in Fjöldor or whatever, and you know, my hands turn into lava. And I don't know if I saw this in one of the comments for the Volibear video I did. There's antagonism between the two brothers, if I recall. Are they separate clans? Or I can't remember the full details there. But so there is such a stark contrast between Volibear and Ornn. Ornn is much more stable. There's a tranquil nature to this giant creature that feels really placid almost. Yeah, but the one thing I would say to take back what I just said is that you don't want to mess with Ornn. Ornn is capable of complete and total chaos and destruction, but it's almost like he's enlightened and he's seen that the path to war doesn't necessarily serve, right? The way that the music plays in this very slow meter and the slow rhythmic cadence with the one fiddle or violin, or viola, I should say, there's a grace. And I think near the end, there's that boost in rhythm and in instrumentation. And I think that is to remind you Ornn is not to be messed with, and that there is still the capacity there for brute force and strength if needed, but he always chooses the other path first. Let's check out a character trailer.
This is Ornn, the fire below the mountain. Ornn likes to do things himself, like building items. Instead of bothering with shopkeepers, he builds his own. And when the Ram God decides it's time for a team fight, he moves mountains to start one. Welcome to the Ornn Champion Spotlight.
No further pleasantries needed.
Ornn has two passes. The first is Living Forge. It lets Ornn spend gold to build non-consumable items for himself anytime he's out of combat. Build items by opening the shop anywhere on the map and spending gold like normal. Just for convenience, you can also build things by clicking items shown in this menu.
Yeah, like I said, he works at a forge. He's a blacksmith. He'll get the job done if he needs to, but I don't need to get in the middle of all this nonsense. Let me look up the lore. Ornn's name was once spoken throughout the lands that would one day become known as the Freljord. It was widely held that he was the firstborn of the old demigods who had shaped the land itself and brought forth the first snows. More than any other of his kind, Ornn was said to value privacy, solitude, and focus. Okay. Beneath a dormant volcano that bore scars from some ancient eruption, he labored day and night, forging whatever his heart desired. The results were priceless tools destined for feats of legend. The lucky few who have stumbled upon these relics note their bewilderingly high quality. Some even claim that Braum's shield was made by Ornn thousands of years ago and remains as sturdy as the day it was finished. No one can be sure, however, for none can find the forge god to ask him. Almost all the tales of Ornn's deeds and accomplishments have been excised from history by his enemies in the slow march of time. The few that remain are remembered by the handful of tribes who can trace their lineage back to a single culture of blacksmiths, architects, and brewmasters. This long-lost populace was known as the Hearthblood, apprentices who journeyed from all corners of Valoran and gathered on the slopes of Hearthhome to follow Ornn's example. Despite this imitative form of worship, Ornn never considered himself their patron. He would only give them curt nods or frowns when they offered up their work. And yet the Hearthblood accepted this and was determined to hone their skills. As a result, they came to create the finest tools, design the sturdiest structures, and brew the tastiest ales the world has ever beheld. They believe Ornn secretly approved of their perseverance and the fact that they were always looking to better themselves in their craft. But in one catastrophic night, all the Hearthblood had accomplished was destroyed when Ornn battled with his brother Volibear at the mountain's peak. Okay, that's what we talked about. For reasons no mortal could comprehend. The resulting cataclysm was a storm of fire and ash and lightning so intensely violent that it was seen 10 horizons away. When the dust settled, Hearthhome was a smoldering caldera, and the Hearthblood were reduced to scattered bones and cinders. Though he would never admit it, Ornn was devastated. Through the Hearthblood, he had glimpsed the sweeping potential of mortal life, only to see it all lost beneath the indiscriminate wrath of his immortal struggle. Racked with guilt, he retreated to the isolation of his foundry and buried himself in his work for an age. Now perhaps he senses that the world is at the cusp of a new era. Some of his siblings appear to have taken physical form once more, their cults of followers growing restless and aggressive. The Freljord itself is fractured and leaderless, and ancient horrors are lurking in the shadows, waiting for any opportunity to strike. In the wars to come, and in their aftermath, Ornn knows that the Freljord and the rest of Runeterra will have need of a good blacksmith. So it is like I thought. And again, the reasons why I came to that conclusion, folks, is because the music is pleasant. First of all, a hum is that's Ornn's hum. So you hear in the characterization of the music a laborious stability, especially when we're hitting with that hammer. There is a swathing and a swath of peace. There's no jaggedness in this. There's no sharp quality. That's how I came to my deductions. The music gives us so much. And it's just about tuning in and listening and saying, okay, what's available to me? Okay, there's humming. Okay, there's smithing, the smithing noises. Okay, there's a single instrument. Okay, there's no violence. right? And you can hear violence. If you watch my Jin video, you can hear that I depicted Jin as a complex, loving person. And I was completely wrong because the music infers something different than what's actually occurring. There's a double meaning. Whereas with Ornn, the meaning is quite obvious. Now that we've read the lore, let's check out the Ornn teaser. I want to talk on the singing style, first of all. This is Christine Hall's. We've heard her in the Udyr theme music, if I recall. What's interesting about this is that it's very folk-like. It's telling a story, like as if you were sitting at a fire, or you walk in and you walk into a bar and someone's singing and you're like, oh, what are they singing? And it's like, oh, it's the story of Ornn. There is an automatic folk quality, almost like it's been passed down through generations. And we understand, of course, having read the lore, we understand that Ornn is very old. It's like, well, if you want to get to Hearthhome, this is the way you do it. You know, there's a real quality to this that is extremely peaceful. And also a bit sad, right? Oh, this is cool. This is those folks that gathered to celebrate and work under Ornn and who revere him. It's like writing the history of Ornn. There's a reverence in the music, in this like Fjeldor style, of singing that is very like, yeah, reverence. It's gorgeous. I love this series. I hope you're enjoying it too. There's a lot more in the playlist for League of Legends. If you want to if you want to subscribe, if you want to support the channel with the links in the About section, feel free. As always, thanks a ton, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.